we're coming in towards tonight here for a best of five, and it's a bit of a change up for as far as what we're used to with some of the formats and things like that. So it should be a good time.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time, right? You know, a couple of colleges duking it out here in the Invitational National Championship. Be able to see who's going to be able to have the upper leg up. Bragging rights definitely comes to mind. You and I are no strangers to collegiate warfare when it comes down to some of the talk that can go back and forth between colleges and in game as well. It's always going to be set up for a good time. And you're right to bring up the format. I mean, starting off with Search and Destroy comparatively to Hardpoint, if you're a fan of Call of Duty, this is how we're going to be doing it tonight. Search and Destroy will be replacing Hardpoint for map number 1, and then Hardpoint will be map number 2. But regardless, I think what I'm most excited for is, are they going to break GAs? You and I were already kind of talking about that in DMs as well. Are they going to just break GAs? Do they even know what GAs are? We're going to see LC10s. We're going to see like monolithic suppressors. I'm here for it, man. Bring it out.
I think that's one of the things that I'm most excited about, because it's going to be a really big, refreshing look at, what this game could look like with snipers in their hands, because we haven't seen it since the beginning of the game. So that's something that could end up coming in towards play. I mean, maybe even some weapons that we're just not used to seeing, coming in towards what we see in towards challengers or in the professional league. So I think that alone is going to be a nice change up to see what they bring. And at this, the second that as well, we don't really know what they're going to bring to the table individually for as far as skill. They've played out quite a few matches to get towards this point, but this is going to be our first real look to see exactly what they're going to be able to do. And we do in fact take a look at that bracket. You guys can see it. I mean, it's been quite a long journey coming up in towards this point. You can see it. They've been playing this over the course of a few weeks and are now finally down to our two teams, Irvine Valley up against the Dutchess, to see who in fact is going to be able to come away with this championship here for us, Andy.
Yeah, you can see Irvine Valley in through the semifinals. They already battled through the borough of Manhattan. Now they're going to go face against Dutchess Community, which is in Poughkeepsie, New York. And for those that are unfamiliar with the entire state of New York, yes, it does reach the outer bounds of the city. This is just, I would probably say about like 80 miles north of Long Island. It's pretty far up there. But even still, two colleges coming out from New York. Love that representation. This California college out of Irvine definitely is going to have their work cut out for them. You see their roster right in front of you there with Chorkey, Nova, Hypnotic. Still don't know how you get that out of what is spelled there. I guess the V is silent and the X is just there for some odd reason. And then you got Hooded Patriot. I love that coming out from this team and just names alone.
That's right. Yeah, a little mixture coming in for as far as what we typically see maybe with some of the tags, but should be a fun one nonetheless. We're also hearing that they might end up doing some sub swappings coming in towards this very first map, and I think it was really reliant on what they were going to get for their first map coming through, which we now know will in fact be a checkmate search and destroy. And well, what we know from that map is that there's not really too many options that you can kind of do for as far as at least the A-bomb site, but you can certainly work towards the one inside of the plane. And to kind of top that all off, are we going to see smokes, Andy, maybe to kind of open up some more of the map? I mean, we talk about subs and changes coming in for as far as maybe getting some stronger AR players that might be able to lock down some lanes here for you. But I mean, maybe if you're just looking to run around with some smokes and make some plays happen, those ARs might not have a big effect. So it should be interesting to see maybe what some of these strats might come in towards play here for us, at least in this first map.
It might have to be some strategies. Maybe some of these young freshmen out of Dutchess Community are going to be able to showcase or withstand, depending on which side is going to be able to show it. 80, Stratify, Pivel, and Rosafir. That is going to be a fun name to be able to say 10 times fast when we're on rotations for Hardpoint. But I think that definitely kind of begs an interest. We had that conversation when Call of Duty did move away from 5v5 into 4v4. Would you end up seeing players be subbed out? Because you do have your AR flexes, you have your SMG flexes. What that means on maps such as Checkmate, typically your second SMG would be the first to pick up that third AR, and vice versa. Say you go to Apocalypse, then your AR flex is now that player to pick up that third SMG, which definitely begs the question that, say we do go to Apocalypse for map number 2, as the loser does get to pick that map, who's going to end up seeing that swap out? Maybe we might see some substitutions to be able to see if we have 3 SMGs that are a little bit more tactical than trying to force an AR player on a very break-heavy map like Apocalypse Hardpoint. You can see the map set on your screen. Like Austin had already noted, we were starting off on Checkmate, and I had alluded to throughout the entirety of this best of 5, first to 3 will win it, but the loser will be picking the map as we go along.
Yeah, and they also cannot pick the same map twice in a row, so that can make for some interesting mixtures for as far as what map mode combinations might be coming in towards this specific best of 5, because we look at again what we kind of see with normal vetoes. It's kind of going through all of them before we get in towards the series. So if you're finding that you're playing up against a team that you may not have scrimmed against here in towards this grand final, and you're like, listen, they're really strong with their ARs, let's stay away from some of these bigger maps and look to maybe pull out some of these garrisons or things like this this where you can be a little bit more lethal with the subs up close. So I like the on the fly kind of dynamic towards, what you can actually bring in towards this rotation here for us for the map pool, because you do have to stay on your toes and be ready at all times to kind of see exactly what's going to unfold for the best of 5, because even you don't know before you get into it. So I love the idea of the question marks here for us, Andy, and I think we're just about ready to maybe start taking a look at what these players have to offer. We've already hyped up the fact that we've spent a lot of time casting over collegiate Call of Duty, have not seen these colleges, but this will be a good look to see what they bring to the table.
Also just love that you can't see 3 checkmates in a row. I mean, you and I just casting a lot of challenges as well. Yeah.
That's right. We love that.
EU gets like 3 checkmates in a row. North America gets like 3 raids, even vice versa. It doesn't really matter, but sounds like the game is underway. Still looking at the map set regardless. But yeah, interested to be able to see what these players are showcasing throughout Search and Destroy. You can see Dutchess just represented at least towards the defensive side of the map thus far. Nodic will be there to take down 80 for first blood, and that's a bomb dropped on the B site.
That's right. Going to be pretty difficult to come back through and try to retake, but a couple players in position to do it. The challenge comes through. The shot's not going to exactly land, but take a look at where we have the Patriot. He's ready to make a move at any point in time, but you're able to find a kill. Long range shots are good there. Hooded now able to get away with his life. Going to be all down to 1. 1 versus 3 at that. Bomb is going to be picked up. Moving forward, not going to find the kill. Hypnotic there, and that will be the first defense locked in here for the Dutchess.
Typically, it always comes down to this first blood, right? In Search and Destroy, if you're unfamiliar, we typically call on that second player, and that second player should be there for the trade. It's a little bit tougher, to say the least, when you are working around checkmating this plane that is broken down smack dab in the center of a warehouse. You almost expect for an SMG just to be around the corner to be able to find that trade, but Hypnotic just playing the angles, playing the trades, and being able to find that first blood and getting away with their life that is bigger than many people can crack it up to truly be. So, opportunity now for Dutchess. Community to try to string together a few rounds here. They are now on the offensive team. Have to see what they can try to do with the bomb. Defensively, though, pretty standard set. You're going to have a player watching through the bottom side of the wing. You're going to be
Another Cloud 2 classic.
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch it.
One. Just one. Every minute, one woman in the United States is diagnosed with cancer. One mother, one daughter, one wife. Kay Yao saw the power of one.
The biggest obstacles also provide the biggest opportunities.
One adds up. One multiplies. Countless lives been changed. One can change everything. You are the one. The Kay Yao Cancer Fund. The power of one.
Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines, but we refuse to let it pass us by. Watch us fly ahead. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. We will be the next greatest generation.
They seem bitter.
I told you protein cookies are a myth. Cookies.
Protein just got tastier. Lenny and Larry's, shockingly delicious.
Try to string together a few rounds here. They are now on the offensive team. Have to see what they can try to do with the bomb. Defensively, though, pretty standard setup, though. You're going to have a player watching through the bottom side of the wing. You're going to be immediately challenged if Hypnotic starts pressing a little bit further forward.
Streaks could be in play. Still number 4 looks to be lined up. Easy takeaway. Can't find the second, and that streak will be shut down. Yuri holding the off angle, but all the action goes down just about immediately. But this is still going to result in a bomb being planted 3 versus 2. Have to play for a retake, and it looks like it might just happen right under the plant. This might have just been good time to slip all the way through on a flank here, but unfortunately, Yuri can't find anything in any of those isolation gunfights. So 1 versus 3 here again. A chance to be able to come away with maybe a kill or 2. He gets info on towards 1. That's an easy pickup. Tries to challenge the second. Not there, and so far, so good. 2 quick rounds coming through convincingly.
Time again, search to destroy. Can't always be beckoned by the player or the team in this nature that makes the play first. And I'd say it's even scarier for the defensive team. The same thing could be brought up for Dutchess, that are almost waiting for the play to happen themselves. Just being able to find as much information as can go as far as a sound cue. Sliding, mantling, all that in between. That is just so loud. What I can only imagine are players' headsets cranked all the way up. And here they go, Irvine Valley. Austin, you asked for it. We're going to see the A push. They are committed for it. 4 players strong.
Oh, they have to know as well. All those nades coming over. And I mean, the trophy system goes down. Nova's in an excellent position to stop this, but the bomb is being planted. That's a big tag up, but the bomb goes down. Now can you get out? That's a big kill on towards 1. Make that a second. You have to now retake this in a 2 versus 4.
All being covered. Oh, Chorky's going to at least find 1. There's that second player I was talking about. Nady right there for the trade. It's going to leave Hypnotic all alone. And a 1v3 player posted up inside the orange container and 2 players posted up on A Street. Good luck.
Not going to be easy. It's been 1v3 so far. And with the 15 seconds left on that clock, doesn't look very doable. Pinch coming in from behind just in case. And finally, Irvine Valley able to get themselves here on the board. And it comes off of an A push of all things here for us, Andy.
Yeah, I mean... Look, in all the way up to professional play, you go to the B site here on Checkmate more than Lysol Killer Germs. Yes, I mean that wholeheartedly. 99.99% of the time, you see the bomb moving its way towards B. And, well, Dutchess, I mean, they were set up for it again, because who ends up going towards the A street, let alone pushing all the way through for a bomb plant? Catch many other teams off guard, but comes down to that first defender, they get cut off. There it is. Find it up, and there it is. LW3 Tundra Pivel trying to find that first blood. Will be met by a healthy amount of Semtexes, but that's 2 lethals out of the way now.
Oh, Andy, I wish you could see that on my face right now, because I'm just so happy to see this thing back in towards competitive play. And guess what? It actually gets a pick. So Yacht putting in work. That's going to force Hooded Patriot all the way back and has to kind of rewrap with his team. You take a look at the bottom left side of the mini map right now, and you can see them all starting to get close towards what has to be an attack over towards this B side, simply because the sniper is in play. And Hooded Patriot with the bomb, not expecting him to be the one to maybe make this play, but might have to. Yuri, he's been here a couple of rounds, has been able to play well off that Tetris position. Sniper bullet will just whiz past Nova's head, able to play his life, but now coming down to the final 30 seconds here in round 4.
Gotta make a play. We have so much time left to try to make something happen, and Dutchess, you know, they're gonna try to make some work happen inside the B site. Yuri's able to find 1, but they'll be quickly on traded out. So numbers advantage for Irvine, and they still have to get this bomb planted for Dutchess.
Hypnotic gets here. This is a very doable round in the 2 versus 3, but Hypnotic will fall. Hooded Patriot, he's got to take a forced challenge one way or the other. He's got the corner. Gunfight comes in. Able to find 1. Does he find a second? Almost. It's a team kill in the end. A close 1 versus 3, but not gonna matter. Will be the defuse that comes through, and now back-to-back rounds will be responded with back-to-back rounds.
Love to see the immediate response. Even a core fundamental of Search and Destroy is an integral game mode that has been around for over a decade. Call of Duty professional play is showcasing those fundamentals, and one of those fundamentals is adaptation. At least trying to recognize that at least they can try to hold these angles and catch the Dutchess off guard if they're trying to aggressive plays. Irvine Valley, as long as they're trying to go for these off angles and trying to catch Dutchess in a forced error is what I like to call it in Search and Destroy. They will find that first blood, and again, in back to 5v5, if you're in a 4v5, that is all the more doable comparatively to a 3v4. I know it's just one more number, but having 2 more guns and a 1v1 down in a very awkward lane, trust me, that's quick math.
Oh, there's the smoke too. So these little things that we haven't been seeing so much in toward the top level are coming through for us now. We'd love to see the change up, but Yuri's able to come away with a first blood. Might just be a trade. Yuri maybe for a second. The sniper shot lands. Nova bringing out a scope of his own, showing us what he can in fact do with it. He's got entirety of A-long pretty much on lock here for him. Can even bob and weave between underneath the plane here. So it's a good position to be in, but you are still in a 2 versus 3, and you can start to see Irvine Valley working towards a B plant here potentially.
The corners is trying to check. Gonna have that help. The player behind is going to be stratified to lock down this angle on a Chorky as native. It's going to be able to at least play the bomb. Nova does find one with the LW3. Now we're in a true 2v2.
From behind, Bivol able to come away with one on towards Nova. Is able to get the regen. A little bit of time to work with. Corky, what can he do? Has to kind of play his life here maybe for a moment. Hopped out. Tries to take the challenge. Shot's a little shaky, but comes out with it in the end. 20 seconds left. Need a trade to come through, and it does. Gets a little closer than most probably anticipated, but in the end, that is 3 rounds in a row. Irvine Valley starting to figure things out here on Checkmate.
We got smokes, we got snipers. Somehow, some way, this is a very different map for both you and me here, Austin. Locking down those lanes, typically you'll find a Crick 6 in those angles, but the one-shot potential with LW3 Tundra, woo, I've missed you. 6 and 4 there for Hypnotic. Just sharing all of the piece of the pie so far between the other 3 players, but it's been 3 rounds in a row now for Irvine Valley. It just really have a lockdown as far as what they're looking for, both defense and offense, and it's pretty standard stuff. I mean, just look at the setup they have right here. Just stratify, be that lone player towards H3. They'll be welcomed by 2 players, but they'll find first blood and get out with their life.
Surprised to see as many A hits as we have, and Chorky, I mean, you could just see the difficulty of 1 moving out past that A bomb site, 2 even getting the bomb down, and you've actually started to see a little bit more attention be brought over towards this A side on the defensive side of things. Irvine Valley in a great position to come away with what could be 4 rounds in a row. Man advantage, getting about halfway through this round. More shots will be exchanged, but no more kills coming through just yet.
Down to 40 seconds. You're down to about 20 more seconds before a play must happen. And it's got to be done inside of this B site. Player will just try to hop on it. Chorky not fully clear out the main cabin. Nady will take them down, but it's quickly traded. 2v3.
Gratify might be looking to come all the way around here, see if he can get close to his teammate. Eddie looking for what could be a lineup on towards 1, but Hooded Patriot might be the one to make the play. Has to make it happen quick. 15 seconds left. Looking for players. There's one. There's the snap. Hooded Patriot evens things up, and will this bomb go down? The nade is going to tag up Hypnotic. He does slip away, resets in towards the 2 versus 2, and now Dutchess forced to come away with a round that they need to make sure things do not get out of hand. 30 seconds to try and make this happen, and that's a big kill for Hypnotic. 1 versus 2. Nady's got to make a move, and he's got to make it quick.
Has no lethals, no tacticals, only just their sheer resilience. Doesn't fully check the corner out of the backside. Checks the table, though. Finds the kill, but the shots from behind just scratching their head. But I thought I cleared that entire angle. I'm sorry. There's just too many corners on the top of that plane. Not just like you talked about, that was a big round for them. Just cutting the momentum quite literally in half. Irvine Valley were on 3 straight, on the cusp of potentially looking at 4. Pivot was that playmaker. You saw them just on that very quick flank coming up the wooden staircase. That 74U had happened to a pretty high value in the round previous to that one, even on the opposite side. Dutchess in that post plant 2v-odd situation. We're just looking at different angles, and they were able to lock it down wonderfully. Now on the offense we go. Irvine Valley looking for this B site. This is the 9 games now. Search and destroy Dutchess. They're actually forcing more players to look towards this A lane, and Patriot goes for a challenge, and Pivot meets him in kind with an LW3 shot.
He's been good with this sniper, man. Anyone who challenges, he's been able to shut down. And now you got to set up that it's going to be pretty difficult to break, but they're coming through the left side. No one's watching Dutchess. They might have been down 2, but it's too late. The shots are there. Stratify opens up a second. Nova and Hypnotic forced to make a big play happen now in a 2 versus 4, and they have no idea if they pushed all the way through to their spawn, if they backed up. There's just a lot of question marks, and Nova's doing his best to really watch in and around his teammate, but now they get the notification. Bomb is down by B. Yuri finds 1, and Nova stuck in a 1 versus 4.
And it's just that, right? You're stuck. You're inside the A Street. He's actually going to end up seeing them. The information will be mutual, but that is some ambitious shots. 74, you both pivotal. Just a bit outside. And if you can tell by the candor of our voices, there is just simply no shot at a submachine gun player, as good as some may be, that you're going to break inside of this fight at about the 14-second mark. Is when you're going to make a play. Well, that makes it a little bit more doable. All times constraints aside. Going to try their best to walk away with a couple more kills. Finds one more. There's just simply not enough time. You saw 7.8 seconds in total to get the bomb defused, and it just wasn't there. Plus the kills as well. Wonderful offense from Irvine.
Oh, we get another look at this right here. I mean, Pivotal not even ready for a challenge to his right, but easy snap. Just moving right over and able to find that first kill. And that's what kind of unraveled everything on that offensive push there for Irvine Valley. And now 4-3. They've certainly been able to take control as we've gotten later and later and towards this one, but Dutchess haven't really strung a couple of rounds together since they opened up with the first two. Looking for that to change. Heading in towards this offense, looking at Hypnotic, who's been one of the explosive players so far. About 8 and 5. The trophy systems will go down. They're going to be able to get a decent amount of plane control here, and it is just one player stacked inside the plane. So you find that kill with the free plant, but Yuri, he's been playing Tetris the entire game, and Nova going to be able to find that kill and read him.
That's a beautiful one. Now it's going to actually cause the player inside of 2. That's Pivotal with the sniper to look at that entire angle. And Nova with an SMG actually takes them down. The heavy numbers advantage now for Dutchess on this offensive push on forward.
And he is tagged up low, just a bullet. Nova cleans him up. 1 versus 3. We've seen quite a few of them, and no one's been able to clutch one up thus far. You're also playing against the clock. They know exactly your position, and Stratify, you'll get a challenge here from Nova, able to take the jump shot. So that's the first one won, but coming down to 25 seconds. Need to move quickly here. Locked out the second, can't find it. And that is going to be tied right back up at 4 apiece.
Started off with 2 at the start for Dutchess, 3 back at her answer in kind for Irvine Valley. But ever since that point, when it was all knotted up 3-3, we just have simply gone back and forth. You saw the teeter-totter, and this time around it is now Dutchess. Nice little search and destroy adaptation, Austin. Again, you got the smokes, you got some flashes, but and you end up just assaulting a sniper rifle's presence. Well, you just run them down. You just give them no presence. You just bob and weave in between a whole bunch of different traffic, and that's what Checkmate truly is. At the end of the day, with all these broken down plane bits, middle of a warehouse, wonderfully executed for Dutchess on that offense, but they would love for a defensive round. Put themselves up on map point, trophy systems to keep each other safe underneath the plane. In Irvine Valley, they're back to their mischievous ways, but worked the first time.
Oh, it did work the first time, but are they going to let this happen again? We got Nova, who's had the chance to be able to make a move in and around the site, right behind A. Hypnotic down low. He gets a spot on towards the player. I love that there. Just completely backs up and then actually takes away the opposite lane. Has that now secured for his squad. You're really just pinched at the moment, unless you see maybe Pivotal make a play. And that's what he's going to have to do. He's got Hypnotic in front of him. He gets the shoulder, takes the shots. Hypnotic, he's not going to take that challenge. He's going to simply just back away, flips over the plane, and gets out with his life.
As soon as you said he's not going to take that challenge, one more bow for to go. All right, great. Now Pivotal's actually going to readjust themselves. They are now inside of blue, bottom left side of the map. Irvine have found the opportunity to push forward. Those opening shots had made Chorky replace, but now they're just going to play for the retake. That's a great opening kill.
Sure is. Yuri, good position, maybe for a double up. No. Yes, it is. Yuri finds 2. Jorky, what do you got for us? The 1 versus 2 with 30 seconds. Nada. Not going to happen. And, well, what a round. The A hit actually being successful here on Checkmate as they're going to put themselves now on map point.
Look, I'm not going to lie. We're 2 for 2 on A hits, Austin. As far as I'm concerned for Irvine Valley, that B-side doesn't exist, and I never thought I would say that in conjunction to a Checkmate search and destroy, but hell, they're able to exhaust as much time as possible over on that A street, just baiting out information by blue towards that bottom wing where Hypnotic was located at, as well as Nova. Dutchess really never had an idea of how far away each other was, the opposite side of each team. So apparently we've been calling these teams backwards the entire time, Austin. But we don't know these players, so apologies for that. We will end up being Team Dutchess. Actually up on map point there with Stratify, Yuri, and Nady, as well as Pivotal. Irvine Valley now looking to bite their way back on an offense to tie it up and go to round 11.
The short you got for us. Been just really toying with the fact of being able to take a challenge on towards one of the players in the backseat of the plane that's kind of watching over. And Yuri is actually going to take a different position. We've been seeing him just play that close corner over towards Tetris there to his left. He's now going to play a different off angle on the staircase. And really his entire job is to just watch over this left lane, make sure no one slips through. But could be an opening here from player 5. We can see it. Hypnotic, he's been the one to look for the plays. Nova, he might try to do it as well. Does get cut a little bit there from 2. We'll get out with his life still over 100 HP, but Nady, he finds the spot, and now everything about to unravel.
Nady gonna find that first. Quick little peek around the corner here. He's got the XM4. That I am not challenging that. No way, not even before I go to sleep at night. Bomb is dropped in such a precarious position. Yuri actually gets double chowed. They'll get smoked. And Nady find the trade. Most importantly, can we get to a bomb site? We're down to 10 seconds.
Hypnotic, 1 versus 3, and yeah, he doesn't exactly have the time to be able to get to a bomb. He'd have to get all 3 kills, and it's not even going to happen, not even one. So a massive round will come through. 6-4 will in fact be the final tally here as Dutchess will strike first in the search and destroy.
I just don't even know what's what anymore. I don't even know if your name's actually Austin. I don't even know if I'm Andy anymore. Like, what are names anymore? But yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, you remember Irvine, they opened up that checkmate search and destroy, being able to take those first 2 rounds pretty darn convincingly and just quite literally running down the opposition of Dutchess. And what was that adaptation that we saw immediately answered back in kind was, well, now we're going to wait for the unforced errors. That was right after that fantastic A push that did work 2 times over, keep in mind you there for Dutchess Community College. So, I mean, hey, don't fix what ain't broke. You're going to catch teams off guard. Most importantly, you're going to keep your thoughts inside of their brain at that point, too. Those mental games can never go unnoticed in a game mode like Search and Destroy. Most importantly, those core fundamentals I was talking about, those mid-round adaptations, mid-map adaptations, Search and Destroy, again, that integral game mode, it'll win you championships at the end of the day.
Well, we don't usually start our best of 5s with Search and Destroys, but we're here for it today. We like to change up, and it's a good start, but we're going to get ready to move in towards a hard point after this break. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't go too far. When we come back, we'll see if it's going to be 2-0 up or if we're going to get things tied up going into the control. Don't go too far. Sweet.
It's just like, man, you got to have that time where you just like disconnect from the scene, just the race, like, and it's a race that I've created in my head, you know, but you have to step away from it.
Why hope? Lives don't have to end with diagnosis. The most impressive achievements happen every day during a fight against cancer. In 1987, Coach Kay Yao was diagnosed with breast cancer. Over the next 22 years, she continued to lead and inspire. On December 3rd, 2007, while battling stage 4 cancer, Coach Kay Yao gave her final and lasting gift, the Kay Yao Cancer Fund. Why give? Millions have been awarded, allowing the Kay Yao Cancer Fund to change lives, provide hope, and give strength. Thanks to our donors and researchers across the country, every woman's best days, most joyful moments, greatest successes, and proudest accomplishments can happen after diagnosis. Why now? With your help, we will continue to provide resources for early screening and prevention. We will support clinical studies and the development of life-enhancing drugs. We will serve the underserved. Join us and be a part of finding an answer, finding a cure. Together, we can do more, and we will do more.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Collegiate Esports National Championship. We are here on board with our Cold War Invitational. And so far, that first map, bit of a banger there for us, Andy, but we still got a lot more of the series to go. And on top of that, we also got some people to thank to make sure that this entire broadcast was in fact put on here. So we have a big shout out and a big thank you here to Army National Guard. Gen Z, it's coming up of age in a tough time with a global pandemic, historic unemployment, and skyrocketing student debt. The media has counted them out, but the National Guard is a part-time commitment to members and still work or go to school full-time and have the benefits from the National Guard by pursuing multiple paths at once. Guard members set themselves up for future success. If you want to learn more about the Army National Guard gaming, check out nationalguard.com/esports or their Twitch channel at twitch.com/Army National Guard. It would be very much appreciated, guys. It's a big thank you to them to make sure that we, in fact, are here. But Andy, now back in towards our matchup. We got a raid hardpoint coming up for map 2, and I never thought I would say that.
It's still so weird to be able to think. It's like we just got done with checkmate, search, and destroy. We should be going into control. Nope, we're going into hardpoint. That's fine. I'm here for it, honestly, because if there's one thing that we saw out pretty early from Irvine Valley College is that they were pretty aggressive for those opening rips, offense and defense alike for that checkmate, search, and destroy. But Dutchess community were quick to be able to answer that back with more methodical gameplay, just as a very quick analysis for how that checkmate, search, and destroy did go down, that they were really punishing them for solo challenging, where Dutchess community were just playing in numbers. And well, that could actually be your benefit when it comes down to raid hardpoint. Again, this is probably one of the most swing heavy out of every single hardpoint map that we actually have within our rotation, Austin. And that ends up happening from those challenges, from those timings as well. A lot of teams still overestimate how much time you still have going from hardpoint to hardpoint to be able to work for those breaks, mostly looking at 1 going in towards 2. Take a look at the team with Hypnotic there. It's going to be Irvine Valley College. They're going to be starting off at least on the unfavored side, some would say. They got a lot of time while P1 is still active, Boston, to be able to find these kills and make that play for the P2 spawns, what they're after.
An opening break can honestly play the difference in how you're able to really set yourself up with some of the pacing in towards this map, and they do come away with a nice start. But the flanking towards the back, Sybil looking for a double, not there. Hooded Patriot able to find the trade, but Nady's also wrapping in from behind as it's chaos and no one really has full control. But finally, starting to take a look at that mini map. Both teams going to be on their side. Now it's just about the individual gunfights inside of the point, and Torquay under the pressure, trying to throw a Semtex down as his teammates are in and around, but it's still lots of trades back and forth as we look at maybe what will be the last 15 seconds going over towards Irvine Valley.
You know, it's a solid defense. If you're looking at for raid, you're mostly, again, looking at P2. That's where the term money hills come to mention. If you're unfamiliar with competitive Call of Duty, these money hills are where you're looking for a solid 40 seconds all the way up to 60 seconds. 60 seconds is how much time you have for each hill being active before you have to rotate towards the next. And look at the way that the Irvine are just threatening from the front already. I mean, Nova has already worked their way in there for the likes of Hooded Patriot, and that's the SMG presence that you want.
Nova now on 2 in a row. Trophy system going to go down. Expecting this pushes him out front here. That fights come through and they're able to shut things down. Maybe even a chance to entry in towards the point, but Torquay and Hooded Patriot, they deny that opportunity. Just one more in towards the back. And it might be a cleanup for Raffy, who's able to come through with 1, but Hypnotic still here, and it's been pretty chaotic for a lot of these points, but it's just been, honestly, strongholds for Irvine Valley as they've been able to come out with the majority of the time.
And it's Dutchess that are continuously fighting for that scrap and that contest time. That's not how you're going to be able to walk away with it. I mean, they're not contesting it for a certain amount of time to where Irvine's feeling pressured, but nice job from Stratified. This is a very important angle to hold. Up to 9-2 with the 74U on AC. And cover a lot of pressure. That is the pinch that could be set up. Area number 3 is Hooded Patriot. They're going to be looking for that exact play while the rest of Irvine Valley are trying to work their way into the B3.
Patriot, one of the more aggressive ones. Snaps on 1, 2 players down. Now just 2 inside of the point. Take a look at the mini map. They both spawn out, so it's your chance to break. But we'll see Pibble able to grab himself 1. Will it be enough? Doesn't look to be. Stratified, caught out by AD. He's been able to start off hot, but his teammates now come back through with the entry, and that might be the double there for Hypnotic. A big double at that, as Stratify is still able to win his one-on-one, so he's allowed to move in towards the point with his 20 seconds to play for, and you can see it, both teams put some priority on towards the scrap time.
Fighting for the scrap time means that it might just be a little bit of a foot race. You can take a look at where player number 1 is currently located. That's going to be Hypnotic. He's already trying to play that route. Going over towards the spiral staircase. They will be prone. Maybe he's going to fully check the corner, but doesn't check the right one, and Hypnotic snaps back up. We'll find another 2 spree. Yuri already had the gunny up. Nice trade from Nova, and again, that foot race will be won. None other than Irvine Valley, while Dutchess were still fighting for the scrap time. That is all fine and dandy because P4 should be another money hill.
Now about 30 points up, looking to extend that on the basketball hill itself. Nova with an AR posted up with the Craig and just waiting for the challenges to come through. Easy pickup with the Semtex. His teammates still slaying in and around as they will find 2 down, but Stratify, he's been the entry man. Needs to do it here. Challenges out, able to land a lot of shots. A perfect bait and switch. Nady finds his way in towards the point, and Nova can't hold the line. His teammates don't look like they're going to be able to do a whole lot either, as 3 of them will drop, but it's one last bid for Heritage. Really be able to find anything. First one there, but it's just too low to really make that play. And now we start to look towards what will be this rotation here heading towards B5.
That's still about a 30-point lead. The Irvine Valley are currently holding. Nice little readjustment there from Nova to find Stratify. 2-piece there. The battle for the scrap will go towards Irvine Valley. And that's just such a nuisance. Almost like a gnat right next to your ear that won't leave you alone for Dutchess. That they just can't hold on towards a sufficient amount of time. Though finding a healthy amount of kills from the front. It'll be easier for the initial time. Nice re-challenge from Nady. Able to find 2 through the pool staircase, and Hooded Patriot will be cut down, although finding 1. And this is good time for Dutchess. They're able to set themselves up comfortably here, Austin. Not only take the lead, but the game shift in their favor as well.
Chorky at the moment having a bit of a slow start here with that submachine gun. Maybe playing just a tad bit too slow, but finally able to get himself in towards the mix as he actually cleans up 2 off a couple of trades. So not too bad. Yuri playing for what could be streaks. That's 5 in a row for him, and his teammates are going to make some waves inside of the point. Stratify able to clear things out. 20 seconds to try and grab, and this could be big for Dutchess as it would bring them just about to a tie game if they grab every single second. Just going to be down slightly, so not too bad heading in towards the resets.
I mean, it started off as about a 40-point lead, and we just about marginally kept it just within about 30 seconds throughout the entirety of the first set of hills. So now we go back towards B1, right there at ring where Nova's looking at. Ibble is set up. They also have a lot of help from their teammates, but it's the thing from Irvine Valley that might just break inside of P1. But overall, what you're mostly looking at is the battle for the middle of the map. It just might seem that Dutchess are currently winning in that objection alone.
Yuri coming back. What can he find inside the point? Challenges not going to be there in his favor. Hypnotic finding himself with a big gunfight here, but the pressure still coming on through as Nady might have just found a little opening through the middle. Will try to turn, takes mid-map control, but won't be able to win the one-on-one battle. Nova pushes out for 3, and now you have control of the favorite spawns. You're getting the scrap time, and this will be Irvine Valley starting to come away with a bit of a lead.
And Dutchess ended up losing 1 player. They fell off that little cliff that is to the left of Laundry, right where Nady is at right now. Fell off the path, and it was an immediate 4v3 in Irvine Valley. They recognized that opportunity. They pushed forward. They got middle of the map, like we talked about, back in control. Hypnotic is in control of jungle, has many more players in front of him. The double challenge will find 1 more, and that is just the 2 kills that you need. It's going to leave Yuri stuck back in jungle. Nova will clean them up. And Irvine Valley are looking at solid for opening 20 seconds, almost uncontested on 2.
Great awareness on where these players are, and now you're forced to break this from the front. Nady getting a little dicey, able to come away with 1. His teammates there for support as well. Big individual moment to come through with a break, so Dutchess put things out for as far as the spawn, but they still need to hold the front line as 1 by 1 they come, so it's very easy cleanup here for just about every single member, but there's a bit of patience. Hypnotic, does he find the entries? That's for 2! Hypnotic for 3! And Irvine Valley, they respond as they look to try and grab the last 15 seconds.
Oh, and they're already threatening the rotation. They got players inside the SIG. Most importantly, Chorky is already over by the car. They will lose that gunfight. First and foremost, and they are over by that black van. Is such a tough fight with a 74U. 1 head glitch versus the other on the school box. Nova's going to be able to walk away with it. It's a nice little stabilization over by P2. Dutchess again were able to fight for the scrap, but it was just that scrap time. Trying to threaten towards the middle of the match. Stratify shots are okay. Can't find the kill with the gun. Might as well do the Semtex. Going over towards B3. That's where the fight must truly be focused at.
Oh, and the setup's not looking great. They've already lost a player inside of the hill, and you have to go big right now. Chorky can't find the shot, so Yuri will clean him up. And 35 seconds to play. This is a big break in Dutchess. You feel like you need just about every single second here. So fending off push after push could just allow them to get back in towards the game, but Nova doesn't want to allow that to happen. They're going to get this one last good push here, and Nova finds the entry, so back in towards the garage they will go. Last one left alive is going to be Yuri. He waits patiently, and he has a one-on-one if he can maybe fight for the last 15.
Oh, Yuri's gonna get smoked. I know over by that Black Fan. Again, that is a hard engagement to try to win out when you have so many angles to try to worry about. But again, Irvine are always threatening the scrap time, and that's such a nuisance. Yes, Dutchess are gonna be set up, but you need a full 60. I'm talking, you don't get broken. You don't barely even lose a single gunfight. Pivotal's gonna be blocking those spawns, playing all the way in the back adjacent to the jungle side. Just gonna keep Irvine trapped. Their really only opening is this hit through pool.
They might take a little bit of time, maybe get some kitchen control here. 80 has to win this gunfight, but will be overwhelmed. So they find kitchen control, and now they can maybe look to force in towards the back and create a pinch down low. This is their opportunity to pounce. Nova finds one more, put it Patriot right in towards the point, but Yuri off screen just found four! That is a full wipe out of Yuri, locking things down in the back. Ball court.
I mean, look, man, I said they needed a full 60. They are poised to be able to do just that. Yuri, heroics included. Now Nova finding a two-piece. You just got to chalk it. The leader's advantage is starting to dwindle down in Irvine. You only have so many opportunities to where you can try to play towards this next hill, this next setup, and this is going to be looking at just that. If Dutchess can break inside of this hill, they too can close it out on P5, Austin.
Oh, need a hold. Irvine Valley, they've been in control the whole game, and that shot punch not going to find its mark. Everyone holding on to their one-on-one individual gunfights, looking good, and now you might have one last good push. Gratify, wait for the patient play, finds the first one. His teammates collapsing from kitchen as they need to make this push count. The gunfights are won. Yuri somehow comes out with that one, and 3 will drop, might even be 4 as Hypnotic can't slip away, and the Dutchess, they're still very much in this game.
For the time being, they are. 10 seconds are all Irvine might just need to close it out. 25 seconds action inside the hill, and it seems that Irvine is trying to go for the hit again. 2 come through. 3 more kills come their way, and there's more than an ample amount of time to close it out on this hill.
You need a big play here. Pivotal, he's trying to buy time, but his teammates have all dropped in and around. One last play. Yuri's done it all, but can't find it here. That will be the close. Irvine Valley able to hold on to this one. 250 to 222.
Play hard point. It's about it again. It started off as a fall. So this is what happened over here. Oh, the rechain towards the spiral staircase. All right, Yuri. Look, the X4 is a strong weapon at the end of the day, but that was just raw talent and overall capability of just holding an angle and the retrain over towards spiral is something you could definitely write home about when it comes to summer break. But even still, I think what's most important about this this entire hard point is that Dutchess were at least able to showcase their ability, their tenacity, their grit, if you will, just to try to really claw their way back. Again, their setups were pretty one-dimensional for Irvine. Time and time again, it just came down to that one kill that was always needed to be able to watch after that pinch. They were always losing out on the trades, and once Dutchess were able to start to find that, maybe just a few hills too late, and they were able to start to claw their way back. But again, it was just that, just a moment's too late. It was constantly a 30, 25-second lead off the rip in between P1 and P2, and that is the difference on this game alone.
It very much was, but Irvine Valley looking a lot more comfortable when it comes to the respawns, and that is something that you do like to see, considering that you're going to have, a couple more respawns coming up. But if it goes to a map 5, then being really good at respawns now never mattered more in this best of 5 compared to other formats. So this is going to be a really important swing map coming up next year for us, Andy. We're going to figure out, what the map will in fact be here. Only going to be 3 in the rotation, so I mean, might just find ourselves on another potential raid where it could be a very slay heavy map, and I feel like that's exactly what you're looking for if you are in fact Irvine Valley. Try to get yourself back into towards what just felt really good, where the slaying was on par, the rotations looked pretty solid, the setups even intact the majority of the time when they were there first. So that is a big takeaway, at least coming in towards this series and being able to bounce back to tie things up.
Yeah, and again, there's a lot of maps that we don't know where the comfort might end up being, and it could just be that, right? Which map do you feel enabled on all the way to league play? Who cares about scrims at that point, right? I fry on this map alone, and that could be where raid might just come into play, because it is a very notable comfort pick across I don't know, the entire community of Call of Duty at this point throughout Cold War. We all love Raid. It is very comfortable of a map, and we understand it across all 3 game modes. When it comes down to control, it's more than just finding those kills. It's capitalizing on those kills. And if you go back towards that checkmate, search, and destroy, it was Dutchess that were, again, able to capitalize on those kills and denying more map continuously. And again, it was exemplified more and more throughout the end of that Raid hardpoint. It just came down to those little more kills. And again, that is a win condition when it comes down to control at the end of the day. might be able to see that Irvine's a win condition throughout the entirety of every single round.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a moment, send things to a break, get set up for that next map. Don't go too far. We come back. Someone's going 2-1 up in the series.
A rogue virus. No jobs. Sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
We understand an upside-down world, but they're writing us off before we get to the starting line. A stalled generation? Who do you think is gonna fix all this? We will, because our future is the future. The next greatest generation is now.
We know about the power of one. One woman with one vision to rally people together to find a cure for all cancers affecting women. And the women fighting cancer, they know about the power of $1, one drug, one more opportunity to live. We're taking Coach Yao's vision and we're going to multiply it. One person at a time, one cancer warrior, one doctor, one official, one coach, one board member at a time. The power of one becomes the power of 1 million. Our goal is to connect with 1 million people, asking our friends, our colleagues, our social media followers to join us in fighting cancers that affect women and providing life-saving access to healthcare for all women. If we bring together 1 million people, how will the KYAO Cancer Fund change the world for cancer warriors? The ask is easy. The work will be life-saving. Let's see what we can do together. It's the power of 1 million.
The news says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire.
I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives. And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Collegiate Esports National Championship as we get ourselves lined up to move back in towards our Cold War Invitational. It's myself, Visions, joined with Proper. We've already been through 2 maps, and we are now tied at 1 apiece. It's been a great time overall, but before we continue, have to give another big shout out here to our sponsors that are making sure that we can, in fact, put this event on for you guys. Barbasol CENC fans, it is our pleasure to introduce to you the new Barbasol 1919 Classic Shaving Cream. 100 years in the making. This fresh take on the original is your go-to for the shave experience like no other. Do it, and you can look clean shaved like my brother over there to my left. And if you're looking as good as him, well, then I might add you as a friend as well. So as we get ourselves now into towards this next matchup, we got a control Garrison lined up here for us, Andy, and it should be a good one.
I just want to hear you do ad reads more often. I get gassed up like no other. And although that picture may end up showing a crossroads, we are in fact going towards Garrison. And yeah, this map is an interesting one. The way that it just plays out as control. For the same almost nuances that I was talking about for Checkmate, Search and Destroy, you don't really see many pushes happen over towards A initially. Now, some of the pro teams have been able to learn how to do that from time to time, but when it comes down to being able to find those opening kills in top green, but expect a lot of mid-map pressure, expect a lot of B pushes for the offensive team. Be looking for that catwalk control. You can get an AR in that power position. Boy, howdy, you're looking towards square, towards the spawns through that main door, and it can open up an opportunity to try to string together a couple of zones, but that doesn't only happen from that point forward. You got to get past the first break-off, which we will talk through time and time again when it comes down to this game mode.
Well, let's get into it. Looking good here, Irvine Valley. A lot more comfortable, it felt like, in towards at least the respawns. Can they do the same going in towards the control? We will, in fact, see, but it's not the best opening that you would want on the attack as everyone starts to get cut down here right off of their spawn. And Stratified forced maybe make a play. Good read up top. Does find Hypnotic, and now that's going to create a bit of space in towards the middle of the map.
Well, and again, it's that focus, the middle of the map, because of all the power positions you may have for the defense. It's a different opportunity to try to spawn camp some of those different oppositions that are trying to work their way forward. You can see right now the offensive team, at least for Dutchess, trying to make that presence of mind, and they're going to be able to walk away with a handful of kills. Stratify is actually causing a lot of ruckus up front. That's more than enough pressure to guarantee the second tick of progress there on B.
3-0 start here for Stratify. Chance for early streaks, can play the difference, and well, he finds two. Stratify moving in for what could be streaked on his first life. Little bait and switch happens, and this is going to be the B zone. No one here to contest, but not able to come away with some damage. Finds one and finds a second. Pulling out the Krig 6, making some work happen, but you still have a 5-0 Stratify who's working towards the streaks as they set up their push towards A.
And streaks are so emphatic when it comes down to towards this A
really
zone. Yeah, again, defending, also assaulting. When it just comes down to how open it is, since that top platform that Minnow at least is looking at, who is a substitute, by the way, coming in for Irvine Valley for this control, is looking at it. You can contest from that spot now, but the Dutchess, they're at least doing this wisely. Not always focused towards at least that push through top green. Now, Pivot will be that player that will hop over first and foremost. Dutchess would rather get cobblestone control.
Listen, getting Stratify this last kill so we can at least earn an artillery is going to be pretty important because everyone has been taking their time, and now you don't have a whole lot of time to work with. Under a minute to try and make something happen over towards the zone. Life lead is just about even here. Up by one will be the Dutchess squad, but Stratify still just been playing his life. So that means that you haven't been putting any pressure in towards the point because of it. You need these streaks to pay off, and they don't. Hooded Patriot able to find Stratify, denies the streaks here. A very important kill as the setup is still intact by A.
And again, it's just that, right? Because we've lasted for about 45 seconds trying to get that 7th kill for at least an artillery strike, and it just doesn't pay off. So now we're down to 25 seconds. That's just, they got to try to make a play happen. Stratify contesting the zone. We'll see some toes. He's going to be able to get that shot. We'll be able to at least retrain themselves over towards Minnow. We go down for Irvine's favor, and now they have presence over towards the A zone.
That was the missing piece of the puzzle. Now you have Stratify in the point. It looks so much more secure. And not only that, but they got 3 players stacking it. This is going to go zooming by the progress bar. Have to get in for a touch. They try, but it's just playing all around the point, and the first offense will be locked in and secured.
We said 45 seconds just for that climax. I almost felt like a Michael Caine film. It just didn't happen. We had all this narrative, all this character built for what? This play right here. And again, it would have been great to hold those streaks going in towards the defensive round, but you did one of the most unspeakable things that is very tough to be able to do all the way up to the 4th level here on Checkmate control, or on Garrison control, excuse me, is being able to win an offensive round, because that puts a fire underneath Irvine Valley that now they have to answer back in kind. To win an offensive round on Garrison is just so tough because of all the angles that you are going to be crossed up from. We saw those angles just biting the side of Dutchess in the rear. They were trying to play for those streaks, just trying to slowly work their way towards the A zone. Does not work. You have to aggress and bully your way, as you just saw.
You see something here out of Minnow, one of the subs coming in. Irvine Valley hasn't been able to find too much favor so far. 0-5 start. Nova, who was one of the explosive players in the search and destroy, is now 1-7. So the sub pressure has not been here. And well, this could be a lineup for a couple. You've been finding the trophy systems as JD comes in from behind, and Hooded Patriot's going to have to try and hold his life here. So able to come away with a couple of big kills to stop that offensive push is there, but Pivotal now forced through the vent system, has to reposition.
And this is actually a little bit of a miscall, at least in my opinion. You gave up all of top green control, not even trying to look out there. Get off the fans to try to find to work their way forward. Now at 11-2, Pivotal's able to find a second with the XM4. They'll be traded on the way out. They'll be stratified, trying to contest the zone, but the last little bit of hairline finally comes through towards the end of that squabble. Now all of the side of Irvine Valley are trying to work their way through the middle of the map to join the likes of Hooded Patriot. They're trying to work their way towards the safe zone with 1:40 left in the bank.
Well, let's see how they do it. Looks like they are going to, in fact, take their time, but one player ends up dropping, so it is going to be a push, which is technically a 3 versus 4, and while they're doing a great job of it, as they've just found every single player, Minnow, I said, he's picking up, and he delivers, and now Hooded Patriot finding kills off spawn, making it very difficult to get back to this zone. 3 players will be stacking it, and Hooded is still slaying out 8 in a row for him, has the streaks, will back up for 9. Is there a 10th? It won't be, but it's still fine, because the teammates are on the point, and we're now tied up here at 1 apiece.
Trading offense for offense on Garrison Control. Austin, who would have thought that we would be here right now? Not me. Certainly not any of us right now. And it's through those explosive plays. Again, just like I was talking about, you're going to work your way towards that A zone. You have to quite literally bully your way through those very small point areas. But the side of Irvine Valley, what they did so well, what Hooded Patriot did so well there, Austin, as you were calling the play so wonderfully, is they worked their way towards the spawns just where Dutchess, or I'm sorry, Irvine Valley are starting their defensive side at. That's going to force all of them to spawn down on the bottom left side of the map. And it's such a long run with so many LOSs to worry about. Wonderfully played out. It really feels like it's Stratify versus Hooded Patriot right now, as Nova is still sitting at an easily 1-11.
Streaks available, gonna make it very easy maybe to lock up a defense here in round number 3. We'll see if they come into play. Hypnotic waiting for that push. Yuri won't be expecting it, but a quick trade. Pivotal comes away with 2, and now maybe some pressure over towards the A zone, as there will be someone tailing him, and I think Pivotal's got a pretty good read on it. Hooded Patriot has been so good in these gunfights, and he's good again. 19-5 right now, putting on a clinic with that submachine gun, but pressure starting to unfold over by B as this next hit does in fact come through. A lot of ARs posted up. Are they going to read the push in from behind? The answer looks to be no. The collapse is in. They will find 2 and even a 3rd to clear out the point.
Irvine Valley, I mean, they're just so crafty. They're being rather creative. Trying to retake that B zone, just like you talked about, through dark. The same was exhibited through offense where you're trying to push the spawn into the cobble. Now we're down to 40 seconds for Dutchess to try to work their way out from their spawn. No ticks of progress to speak of towards any of the zones, and that's what you're truly after. You want more time on the clock, and the only way you're going to get that is through ticks of progress. Got some presence. That first 2 kills are going to be good. Top cat control is going to be here, but you got to worry about for Hypnotic. He is quickly coming to your back line.
Oh man, he's just hitting the gas and will get spotted though, but no one really turns for him, so that is a big pickup that he's able to come away with when he shouldn't have found anything realistically. Nova testing for the front, finds a kill, 1 more up close, has to go for the reload, and Nady will punish him for the reload as he's able to come away with 1, almost slipping away too, but this is just still strong defense, making sure that they're not able to come away with B. Pressure over by A means that Stratify now maybe going to start drawing some of that pressure off of the zone. We'll have another 1-on-1 battle for him. We'll just back away, but you're low on time here, Andy. You got to make a play, and finding this kill here for Stratify could be the difference, and he does bring it home.
It's going to be 1 more that's challenging him. Regen's not going to be coming through fully, and it's going to be Hypnotic that's going to be able to walk away with a kill. 22 seconds remaining. 2 ticks in total to speak of, but those are on 2 separate zones. Now it comes down to Yuri. The furthest player forward for Dutchess is Nady. Gets gunned off the spawn. He's going to make the play. He's able to find 1 inside of lights. They can stop the clock.
Stopping the clock at 12.4 seconds. In from behind, Hooded Patriot. Going to be able to find 1, but Nady with an important trade. Maybe get back on this, and he will. Double up here. Nady stops the clock. Still alive, but the nades are coming through. Trophy system goes down. will be a contest as Nova trying to play his life right now. His teammates also in from behind, but 3 will drop all up to Nady, and Nady can't find them all. And there is no time to get back on this zone as we'll get our very first defensive round locked in.
That's pretty darn decisive now, wasn't it? I mean, tell you what, Irvine Valley, once they started finding their strides, once Hypnotic and Hood Patriot just started realizing we're on a different pace, playing at a whole different level of momentum right now. The Hypnotic just doesn't barely even stop. Just a few moments ago, they were just on the immediate flank. They only found one. That one kill again as you're trying to work your way towards the zone is one less player looking at a line of sight where your ARs could be set up, or to where this player on your screen, Hooded Patriot, could be flanking you. And again, full streaks, cruise missile, artillery strike, still in the reserve for Hooded Patriot. Potential to use that ping already, maybe just for the information. The bombs still need to be dropped from up top. A little quick check of the tablet. I just get the information off the rip here to see where Irvine want to go.
Yeah, you know, he's been able to come up underneath. That's a big pickup there, so minimal drop. Meanwhile, a second player dropped there, but the Patriot can't really find the shots, so forced to move up and towards the map. We'll find one. And now maybe some pressure over towards A as we do see the clock actually being stopped here at about a minute. You got Yuri up top to try and make that move, but Hypnotic there for the gunfight. Doing it time and time again, and now you actually got an effective setup over by A.
And that's a tough gunfight. 74U versus a high grounded XM4. Very emphatic gunfight. Triple stack over towards A. Nady, Piv, they both clear at least 2 off. There's the hit again. Hypnotic's only going to be good for 1 more before the pretty quick exit. And this is not raid control, Austin. You do not spawn immediately towards that B zone. Look at the way that Dutchess are moving from zone to zone. The high ground, the immediate focus. The affair has already come to an immediate close. 7 life lead for Dutchess.
You have to be careful in this moment right now. Getting put in the spawn trap might just mean the round could be theirs. Stratify, able to get one, and that's still okay. Forcing this line further and further back. Don't allow them to press forward and get a touch on towards the zone. That is the goal right now for the defensive side. Pivotal also just bouncing in between Dark, waiting for a challenge. At the middle of the map's covered, but Stratify gets dropped down on and will fall, but Pivotal in from behind makes that play happen, and now desperation will mean the cruise missile comes into play. Able to bring home that first one, but doesn't find anything else. However, they have been able to at least get on towards A. Stratify will have none of it, finds that first one. Thought he was down low, he wasn't. A, still a chance to be able to go over.
It is, yeah, and the life lead starting to dwindle on down. And Hooded Patriot has many players in front of him. Is good for 1, but can't find the second. All that is happening. Irvine are able to work their way over towards B. Players stronger are about to be here. First stick of progress has been secured. 9.2 seconds. All is needed is just one break. And cleanly conducted.
There for 1, there for 2. Stratify wants to make sure this goes 1 more round, and with a defensive hold, it looks like we will get there. Very back and forth, extremely close. The first 2 offenses went over, but the last 2 rounds have all been defense.
And the way that you end up finding who goes to round number 5 if you're new to competitive Call of Duty has changed for us on this current patch. It goes down to overall tick progression. And with that extra tick that did come through over towards that A zone, Austin, Irvine, they will be on the defensive side. And if it ends up at least going towards the way that the nature ends up calling for. Oh, I'm sorry. I did my math wrong. See, this is why you don't do math live, everybody. Learn from me. We'll be Irvine at least on the offensive side. It could be just a disparity of maybe 1 tick of which might have just eluded me in an earlier round. But regardless, being on the defensive side for Garrison control, you're going to be feeling pretty darn skippy again. Already noted how hard it is to take an offensive round here on Garrison. Irvine Valley, they're already doing it with a streak down. Hooded Patriot gets to that cruise missile. It's going to have to be raw aggression off the rip.
Oh, Nova, slow to start for the last couple of rounds, but maybe this is his moment to shine. Finds 2, don't challenge the player up top. Just try to dodge the nade, and fortunately, Yuri's able to weave it in there to find the kill. So, still will have pressure in and around B. Hooded Patriots waiting for a challenge, and Yuri forced to just back away, wait for his teammates maybe to make a move, but his teammates are all falling in and around this B zone, so things going to be a lot more difficult. And now with the way the arrows are moving, they might just be looking to chalk this. You got 3 players stacked, and maybe Pivotal will try to make one last desperation play here from the side. 80 from the front. Will they be able to find the kill? Stratify is able to bring home 1. The trade's back and forth, but in the end, B is secured.
Get that extra 60 seconds to work your way towards A. It's almost kind of the same and similar setup. The previous offense for Irvine, when they did take that offense, they were able to get that B zone, but on immediate focus towards the middle of the map. Dutchess quickly recognized the one opportunity that they had lost upon was that they didn't have players playing underneath the defended tank. That is the immediate change as the break-off just continues to break in the way for Dutchess. Look at the life lead as well, leading by 4. Irvine, they need a clean break coming out of dark so that way they can even make their way into position to try to get on that A zone.
Looking at Hooded or Hypnotic maybe to make this play happen. They wait. And there's the first one. Yuri finds it. Kill's looking good, just about across the board. Chance to be able to inch up on towards the map here, of course, is what you're trying to do. And Hypnotic's going to try to hold this position. And that's now a couple of kills. So you're going to have a bit of breathing room. You have Stratify up top. He has been dealt with. This is now entry in towards A. Stopping the clock at 56 seconds. The streaks might also even be called as they're stacking the zone as all 4. Nady needs to play his life. Artillery comes in. It's not going to find anything, but you have to make a move in towards the zone. It will be contested from the front. Hypnotic, though, for 2. Might have just locked things up, and that will seal the deal. Closing it up in the final moments to go 2-1 up in this series.
You want to talk about one of the hardest things to do when it comes down to a garrison control is getting that A zone. Yes, but it kept players trapped while the rest of the team of Irvine were all safe around that TAC satellite dish where the bombs weren't dropping. You have a lot of space that you can play with where that shrapnel will not find the team kill. That was executed wonderfully soon before that. It was just the raw aggressive push through the side of bricks as well as top green. Just bully your way on towards that A zone with the raw submachine gun power that Hooded Patriot was bringing to the table. You got to enable that guy, and they were able to do it for 2 offensive round wins on garrison control. Again, very unheard of, but well done for them.
Well done for them. I mean, it usually doesn't come down to, those final moments the way that it does, especially with the control that you had in mid-map for as long as you did. But that one gunfight that's lost in green from Stratify, just opens up the floodgates and no one else is there on the zone because they're waiting for the push in the back by bricks. And as Andy just broke down, just waiting patiently there to use that artillery to make sure that you come through with the win means that respawns have looked pretty good for them across the board right now. So now we're looking at what is a 2-1 series lead, but we're going back to search and destroy for map 4. Yes, for all you Call of Duty fans out there, we are going to search and destroy for map 4. You did not hear that incorrectly. It's the hard point that is in fact actually there for us in the map number 5 if it ends up going the distance. And when we do come back towards what happened in towards the checkmate, I think there were some interesting strategies that ended up playing out there for this Dutchess squad. They were able to come through with a lot of unique strategies that ended up paying off here for them. And now you really need to dig deep for some of those same strategies moving in towards this next map.
Yeah, and what's funny about strategy is that we ended up putting it 1-to-1 with the word of creativity when it comes to search and destroy, at least as far as our community is concerned. That creativity and some of that strategy was, again, not some of the craziest. They were just going in with just nice core fundamental strategy. One player towards Tetris, one player coming out of P2 looking towards that A street defensively. Well, at least you have one player that has immediate help if they're playing inside the main cabin of that plane, looking underneath the belly of the plane. Now, you can end up finding a lot of value with that on a multitude of search and destroy maps. Express is one that comes to mind. That's not inside the immediate map pool, but you can end up finding those same sort of crossfires is what I'm ultimately getting at. And if you're able to exhibit that, if you are Dutchess, again, that was the immediate answer for the aggression that we saw from Irvine Valley. That same aggression that we just saw back on that garrison control that got them that A zone twice over. That's what ended up winning them the first 2 rounds. But then soon after, Dutchess were able to recognize force errors are certainly a thing on search and destroy. And so long as they're trying to find the information by just sheer aggression and just sprinting at them, we might as well just hold the angles and find that first blood. As we see the maps have been updated on our screen, it seems like we're going to Moscow there, bud.
Looks like it. A Moscow search here for the map number 4. I mean, interesting to say the least, because this is in some consideration coming in towards what was a checkmate. Some things do follow where you can look to maybe still be pretty oppressive with those ARs and with that Craig 6, which is something we were seeing quite a bit of. Even the XM4s have been pulled out a couple times throughout the series here, so you're certainly going to have favor as an AR for sure heading in towards Moscow. But I think the biggest difference in what we're seeing used a lot more, especially even watching over some of the collegiate Call of Duty as of late, is teams being able to actually realize, all right, we can move through the middle of the map and we can actually set up hits that can be sending maybe one player over towards B. We can see if we find value in the mid map. If we do, maybe we can push through. We can completely, shift our play call on the fly and be able to maybe move over towards the other bomb site, because everything is interconnected, and it's really difficult for the defense to kind of hold that line if you lose that player who's maybe sitting inside of cutout watching over things. So I think that teams are starting to realize that, hey, listen, we can be a little bit more creative. We can call plays on the fly, and just because we call A doesn't mean we have to just commit towards that site there off the start.
Yeah, they're almost kind of playing it like how Raid is being played for Search and Destroy in a way, right?
Exactly.
And that's kind of where the giant meta shift ended up happening. If you bring yourself back historically, I know I'm going back pretty far by a couple months here, but go with me, is that when Raid Search and Destroy started to become more mainstream, at the Search and Destroy meta, as far as Moscow is concerned, was heavily changed. And that's when you started seeing more focus towards the middle of the map. And that's where you start to dip your toes in towards the creativity pool, if you will, because then you start looking at escalators, you start looking at that cutout wall. And so long as you're able to get the first defensive player out from that cutout wall, you can then start looking at boulevard control. And hell, if you find that first blood top escalators, that can mean the immediate rotation or the pump fake over towards B. Regardless, trying to at least get middle of the map may just be the main focus, but it is Moscow Search and Destroy. You got to try it at least a handful of times, says Irvine, and they're going to go straight towards that A site, 4 players strong.
Well, they could end things here for us and be our Cold War Invitational champions. As the smokes come down, the rush is in, and Hypnotic already behind enemy lines, but can't exactly find them. Of course, we can see them through the X-ray and the smoke, but Hypnotic not going to have that luxury. But are they going to expect him here? And he's the one that has to make a play. Now he's losing his teammates in and around. Pivotal should fall, you have to imagine, and there it is. Will end up dropping. Hypnotic will be able to find a play, makes it a second. Can he find all three? This would be a massive play coming in towards the first round. Will pick up the bomb, and both players just gonna reset.
Yeah, Stratify is actually gonna go for the long flank, and this is what is just so tough for Hypnotic to try to clear all the angles. It might have just been timing for them to go all the way back through white. Now Hypnotic is gonna clear out that exact angle, while the opposite side, Stratify, is again committing towards this long flank, just trying to get into the mind of their adversary. Hypnotic, they have one win condition set in stone. That is to plant this rock, of which they will do so. Information will be mutual. Stratify will now know this as they have to work their way across the entire map of Moscow with 38 seconds remaining.
It's a lot of time, and Hypnotic might be playing just one angle to try and get a read if he's coming from this side, and then might assume that he's not. So could turn his back, and it might just end up happening actually exactly. The timing is there for Stratify. Up close, the gunfights have been here all series for him, and it's here again as he wins a crucial 1v1, denies the 1 versus 3, and makes sure they lock down their first defensive round.
Yes, the hunter at the beginning of the round becomes the hunted at the beginning of the round. The old razzle-dazzle of Search and Destroy. Again, it comes down to this play like you were talking about. One of the smoke ends up dissipating. Hypnotic makes their presence known over towards the pillars. They didn't even eat a single bullet in between finding those 2 kills. So being able to potentially take the next engagement was very much so on the table, but it was a heads-up play for Stratify just to give the space in a 1v1, to truly bait out the isolated 1v1, wait for the regen if they were already weak, just play for the retake. That was a very veteran move from a very young Search and Destroy player of Stratify. Towards the offense for Dutchess. Here comes some of that creativity, a little bit more focus towards Boulevard, but you gotta watch out. Player number 1 of Hypnotic, he's inside the cutout wall. Some shots may be thrown over. They're gonna reposition, in the communication you can see is already coming through for Dutchess.
The bomb's pushed up here, and yeah, that was my worry. If Hooded Patriot finds that kill, then they're maybe really in a bad spot, but Hooded Patriot hasn't been able to lock down this kill just yet, and his teammates haven't really been able to push up with him either. Yuri, though, will be able to find this kill in towards the back as everyone makes their move, trades back and forth, but at the moment will be a 2 versus 2.
And bomb dropped inside of apartment on that PSP side. Pibble, he's one from Nova on the Boulevard side. It's just going to retrain their aim. They know that Minnow's inside this site. What can you do here, young man? He's at least trying to play these angles, knows that the bomb is the main part of the objective here, but they are pinched.
Oh, it's picked up, and he gets the sound cue just a second too late there on towards the snap. And what has been just some great numbers advantages that have been able to work out here so far. The Dutchess have been great, and you even see Nova with a little 180 snap on there for not just one, but also lines up the second. And that's to really make sure that they do, in fact, have some security in and around that site there on the defense.
Yeah, that all came through from The immediate push through gold. The immediate looks over towards... you thought that the bomb carrier should have gone down. They had the trophy system to keep them alive underneath apartment windows. And the help over by Globe. Again, it's those unforced errors that Dutchess are able to come out on top of when it comes down to facing against Irvine Valley. Historically, at least in this best of 5 series. But how about this engagement in the middle of the map? Hypnotic for first blood.
It's a big kill too, Stratify. You really want to find him out of all 4. I think that's something that we've learned after slowly learning how these players decide to play with one another, but that's a big response. Hypnotic also a player you want out of the picture for Irvine Valley, as Nady might be the one forced to maybe make this play, and well, we'll have his teammate with them. They're going to make this move happen right through the middle of the map, it would appear. Pibble checks his left. Minnow tagged up. There's the reach out. Pibble also trying to escape with his life, as it's going to have to be a 3v2 retake. And Nova finds one more to even things up.
Oh, Hooded Patriot right there to find another. Pibble is just up to Yuri. XM4 in arms. Check every corner, every single possible angle. Now, when this mantle might just come through, it'll be the loudest thing this side. Globe, isolated engagement does find Nova. This is doable. The deep play from behind. Hooded Patriot's going to showcase that they are here. Shots are going to be thrown. Yuri, 14 seconds remaining, is going to go run towards that B site. Try to clear out with the Diamante. Shots are going to be good. Are they going to get there in time? I think they just barely did. Absolutely did. Fantastic play from Yuri. Most importantly, when you're that last player for Irvine, just run. Just get the heck out of Dodge. There's no reason to try to go for the engagement. They didn't even know you were there.
Listen, big play from Yuri to come through with that, but Hooded, I think, absolutely should have had this round. He got him tagged up down to a bullet or 2. You have a 74U up close versus an AR. I feel like you have to take that challenge, and I mean, it's just that little moment of hesitation that ends up costing him, and not playing your life long enough to maybe just sit outside the window to recheck there at 7.5. You have to win those ones if you're going to be able to come out here in this map, and now might not be the case, because Dutchess, they come away with 3 straight rounds, and a lot of these rounds have been individual 1v1 clutches, 2 of the 3 actually. So you're feeling really good with everyone that's just been rolling out and just been setting the tone and the tempo so far in Moscow. But here's a round that you absolutely need to respond with here on towards the defense if you're Irvine Valley.
I love this difference from Hypnotic, and I hope you and I both know what this means, Austin.
Sadly, I do.
You and I both know what's about to be happening on our screens in 5. Oh, okay. Well.
Almost. If you called that down to the T, that would have been impressive. I would have gave you a clap for that one.
I want you to know, when we came back, that I wasn't looking at my notes. I was looking at my stopwatch. So I always have one available when we're casting Call of Duty for that exact purpose.
I love that. I love that right there. But of course, the lobby looks like it has dropped. We'll get a bit of an update for as far as what will in fact kind of take place. It is currently 3-0 up there for the Dutchess, so they're very much comfortable in the lead for as far as that map. So my assumption would be that we would come back through with a 3-0 start and just play things out for as far as a reset. But we'll get a ruling on that. For as far as what we have seen, well, smokes are in play. Haven't seen so much of the snipers, which I think is a little bit interesting, because we did see it on Checkmate quite a bit from both teams actually, and from multiple players on both teams. The big factor for Moscow is that when we used to watch it, Andy, there was actually a lot of sniper play. Like, you always had a sniper playing in and around A, or maybe even shifting over towards the street side to be able to work for some picks. So I think it is a little bit interesting that we haven't seen it come out after already seeing it in the map 1.
Yeah, your boomstick player for the history lesson of the day for Moscow Search and Destroy. I know I already gave you one earlier, but you're getting a double dose as we're waiting for the lobby to recreate itself and repopulate. But nevertheless, your sniper used to be your floating player. And that's why snipers were mostly pristine to be looked at for your SMG flex player, because you're not necessarily losing out for that AR flex or that main AR player that's going to be looking at those quite pivotal crossfires, one inside cutout wall, maybe top escalators if you're going for that 3-1 setup. But the sniper, again, is able to manipulate the terrain. And again, those mind games is what you're mostly looking at when it comes down to search and destroy, of where's that sniper going to be located at. I know it really seems linear when you're thinking, well, just playing back pillars or playing on that back red bus on the opposite side of globe. There are a lot of headies to be able to pick and choose from. And you can get quite creative as far as where your own positioning will be at. And some of that creativity might just come through from the player alone. Maybe they're not the highlight reel sniper going for those quick scopes, going for those crazy plays. They might just feel a little bit more comfortable doing with the Krig, or at least in Yuri's hand in the XM4.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it definitely can be a comfortable thing for as far as just using that you're, using something that you're also going to be able to retake with. Because if you do have to force some of those close engagements, well, we know the Diamante isn't always the best. And unless you're, coming back from like the old phase days, you're not probably going to be hitting too many quick scopes either, as much as it is nice to use that sniper up close. So it should be interesting to see if that does end up changing as we go further and further into this. And it looks like we have, in fact, got an update. So still will be a 3-0 advantage as we had assumed coming in towards this one. So it would have to be, a couple of quick rounds, I feel like, or at least rounds in general, going over towards Irvine here, coming back in towards this reset here for us, Andy, where, there is an argument to be made that they could be 2-1 up if they're winning those 1v1 clutches, right? So it has actually simply come down to just a couple of big ice plays from the individual players and hasn't maybe totally been just completely one-sided, getting wiped off the map, not even being able to fight back, right? These are very, very close rounds, just simply have not gone their way here, unfortunately.
I mean, Hypnotic almost finds an entire ace. Round 1 comes down to that 1v1 of Stratify. Again, just playing very coy and just playing for the information. Again, that has actually been the opposite. And again, it's just Dutchess that are just playing just so slow. Just waiting for the information to straight up come to them as team names didn't be swapped, but over towards the offense regardless. See the bomb being carried by Hypnotic. And the Irvine Valley College at least trying to assault the offense, but just as soon as that's all been said, they are just finding a handful of kills. Big 4v2 coming forward.
Well, there's the round that you needed, and they're able to come in with it. But I think Yuri was a little bit shell-shocked on what happened here. I think you even see it right from Hypnotic's angle. Oh, no, it was his teammate that shot at him. And yeah, Yuri's like, dude, I was getting shot in front of the bus from the middle of the map here, guys. Like, I'm one shot, I'm weak. I need some assistance. And, well, your assistance is unfortunately dropped here for you. So not going to be available to come out with that one. But at least the first rounds will come on through. And that is a much-needed one to come back in towards the reset with.
Yeah, it really is. Again, you don't want to go down 0-4 by any stretch of the imagination. You're still 2 rounds down. The opportunity might present itself to string together at least the opening 2 for this map reset. On the other side for Irvine, look at this middle of the map pressure for their offensive push. Some of that creativity might just come their way. They know at least one player's on the opposite side of the cutout wall. That's going to be Nady.
Well, Nady, will he take the challenge? He sees ahead, gets the info, backs up. Like the play. Don't need to take an unnecessary challenge. Middle map control is completely in Irvine Valley's favor. And well, the Semtex, that's a nice little Kobe here out of Nova, placing it perfectly for a kill. Civil might also be pushed out in the back alley, and that is indeed the case. So Hypnotic there for kill number 2, and a nice advantage coming in for Irvine Valley.
Yeah, that's the disparity of weapons right there, right? You try to sprint forward, longer ADS time sprint to fire comparatively to a 74U. And he will have one in hand. I can only imagine he has the same weapon that Stratify is playing with. We're in top escalators. That's a great flash check. What a heads up check. We're top escalators. Now I know Stratify's here.
What? Stratify? Okay, if you find that second, I'm waking some neighbors up. But now all up to 1. Would it be a 1 versus 3 as well? 2 players left and remaining. There's the second and the immediate challenge. Nova, no hesitation, pure confidence, moves back through for the easy cleanup.
Stratify didn't even get the first bullet.
Yeah, that was
I know it's not even gonna be playing the game. They didn't even win the round for goodness sakes, but like, wow. Like that's just something I wish that I would be able to harness towards my league play matches. I'd probably come out with more W's. I'd probably be in a few ranks ahead, but this is a big bounce back. For all intents and purposes, we were 3-0 down for Irvine Valley College, and we ended up having to recreate the lobby. Back into it. They are here with the heat and the fire. Hypnotic really started the entire Moscow search with set heat. Nova's right there to help things out. This is now a 1-round affair. 3 replaces that 0 for Dutchess. They look to set up another offense in the middle.
Oh, how many did he spot? For the Patriot, certainly sees 1, but does he know that the rest are following right behind Nady as he's moved up here with the bomb? And this is essentially the same thing we saw last time around, where all 4 players are just about in the middle of the map, and I mean, they are being closed in around, and Hypnotic for the back. It's the big key here that he gets there with his life, but Hooded Patriot also able to find himself 1 before Stratify gets the trade, and now Dutchess in a 2 versus 3.
Ooh, Stratify! Again, another engagement. I don't know how you walk away with it, but shot's just that much better, I suppose. Yuri's going to be under pressure. Crouch walking the field, but Yuri's not going to check in time. The Diamante lock down the kill, Stratify 1v2.
Does he have it in him? Oh my, no way. No way do they walk past each other like that. I don't even know. I am just almost disgusted.
They're not even near the window either.
This is going to be the bomb picked up for free. Stratify, does he get the timing to move into B as they rotate out?
No shot.
No way,
What?
man.
No shot.
They hear the Mansell. They do not hear the Mansell. Andy, it has happened. The bomb is going down.
It's May 1st. Christmas was a long time ago. We gotta stop finding these gifted timings between you and me, Austin. That's crazy. And look, you might just find an isolated 1v1 in between the separation. I don't think that Hypnotic saw Stratify on the opposite side of Globe. Just the amount of gusto that they are lacking towards this push, the Flash won't find anything either.
Stratify's cleared out. Just about everything in the middle of the map. In the back street. What, this push? They have to assume he's in here. There's the challenge, and the shot's not going to be there. Stratify just going a little bit wide. A chance for what could have been a big 1 versus 2.
Oh,
I was about to hold my breath there. Maybe it was a technical 1 versus 2, but Hypnotic, he'll hold on towards his buttons and make sure the defuse comes through. And now we're all even Stevens. Of course, if you're just tuning in, it was a reset coming back in towards this, and it was 3-0 up there for the Dutchess. Now Irvine Valley, first ball with 3. Make sure we're tied here at 3-all.
It is Irvine up of map, by the way. 2-1 in the best 5 series. They close out here on Moscow's turn. We'll not have to play that map 5, which will be hardpoint. That's where Dutchess would love to try to send it. Again, off that opening 3-round start. And I think that Pivotal and Yuri were a little bit more impactful. They've yet to find a kill through 3 rounds in this reset. The work has been found by Nady and Stratify. And Stratify has really been that player, that playmaker, if you will. Irvine on the opposite side that can rely both on Hypnotic and Nova. Trying to make these plays happen for themselves. The offense for Irvine, instead of going towards B, they'll be working their way towards A. They do have trophy systems on both sides here, and some nades will be mutual as far as information, but what a great call coming out from Irvine. Show presence at A. Let's go ahead and quick rotate over towards B, but Dutchess, answering kind, already sent Pivotal over there to help out Stratify, who's watching the window.
Stratify does spot out the information, so you are kind of caught in between a rock and a hard place at the moment. You have to make a decision. Are we going to move in towards B and try to clear out this side, or are we going to rotate back through mid and maybe assume that the defensive side did, in fact, over-rotate? But Nady, I mean, he's in a position to stop that entire play from coming back to A. Instead, the play made to go forward. Hypnotic doesn't reach Stratify, laying down prone, so that will be a first blood. 30 seconds remaining. They're going to try and drop the bomb.
Stop it here. You got to play for retake going forward. You're going forward, B3. This is very doable, but the B side is very tough to take. You got to wait for these 2 players to come through the metro side. Stratify already looking towards the boulevard. Fragger lockdown shots will be good. It's Pivotal that locks up the opening kill.
1 versus 4. Nova, who's on 5 in a row, might just be looking to play his life. I would love for him just to play his life, and he can't do so. Tries to make a play for the bomb to be the hero in that instance, and finally, the bleeding is going to stop for the Dutchess as they're able to get themselves back on the board, and will also give them a 4-3 advantage now moving in towards their next round.
I mean, this search and destroy map here on Moscow between these 2 teams might also well be a katana fight, because we said stop the bleeding twice for both sides. It was 3 rounds to start for Dutchess. We get a lobby reset. Irvine answered back with 3 of their own. Stopping the momentum again on the opposite side is Dutchess. So up 4-3. A 1-round advantage might just be a big one. Again, it is Dutchess that want to close out this map into a map number 5, but Irvine, they try to do it again. Keeping their life means that Nova won't have to trade. It might not really matter as the push comes through and Hood of Patriot does get traded.
Oh, but they're able to get 1 back, and shots on him! It's not looking great. The push comes to him, and the Diamante's a lot better than the Krieg 6. So we take a breath. The dust will settle, and we got Yuri with lots of time in a 1 versus 2, and he might just find Nova to his right.
Oh, you got to fully check this corner, though. And you're just going to probably be red dot mainlined. Your eyeballs through your monitor looking through that escalator push. Yuri's just going to back down from it entirely. Got 35 seconds left inside of the clock, so try to make this push happen on the backside of escalators. And now I'm starting to question whether or not Irvine know that the bomb is physically dropped on the escalators itself, but you're down 25 seconds. You think that Yuri's got to make the play happen. Just have a little fidget happen from Minnow. Might have just gotten the sound cue. Checks the escalators. No presence at all. Yuri He's on the B site. More than enough time to plan.
Yeah, they're going to rotate. So Yuri looking to try and grab maybe a quick kill, reset the fight if he can. And he's got isolation here onto one. Nova, solo Chow. Need a quick move out of Minnow. He's also got an AR, and he typically plays slow. And Yuri's got a read on it. The shots come through. He turns, but Yuri can't find the lineup. So Minnow, the substitution coming in towards the map number 3, will be able to find a big 1 versus 1. And that means we are once again tied up here. We're all.
What did he think that the that the lamp was shooting at him? What happened there? Let's hear it one more time again. He's talking about the isolation from Nova. Again, I've been there. We've all been there, right, brother? We had some shots from the opposite side, but it's all tied up 4 apiece, so still a few rounds still needed. Oh man, I'm gonna have to go back and get some clown music for that one. That was pretty great. But even still, really tough circumstance to find yourself in if you are Dutchess, or you would think as a 2v1 that should have been a guaranteed round. Now you got to win 2 in sequence, just sent to a round number or map number 5. Irvine Valley are looking to close it out.
Big swing round here. Round number 9, technically speaking, and 80. Oh no! Can't find one. I thought he was gonna get one, but Nova's been able to clean up 2, and now players dropping all around the site as the reinforcements comes through, but it's just one player. And what can Stratify do? Able to find one, doesn't check his left, and he will drop. Another round put up. Irvine Valley, they've been able to mount an insane comeback in towards this one for us, Andy, and now they are 1 round away from being your invitational champions.
And again, all of that aggression that they were trying to find value with on checkmate, and he put the rest very quickly by what? AR pressure, just for how open that map is comparatively to Moscow, to where you can get a lot more value with SMG presence, and Hypnotic and Nova are just exploiting that round after round. Since coming back inside the reset, they are just running at Dutchess, and even from the defensive standpoint, they're just isolating the gunfights, and quite frankly, coming out on top of more of them. Even from top to bottom, you can do that quick math yourself. Irvine Valley, they definitely got the hotter gunnies, but here comes Dutchess for another B push. Again, it's Hypnotic that blew up this play last time. It's actually going to sprint all the way back up. Did Nady see them cross? I think Hypnotic might have seen a helmet. Going to be stuck here for the time being.
Talk about the pressure right now. The Dutchess having to come away with this round and the next. One mistake could cost you. This might be the mistake. No, wow, oh my. Almost turned on Pivel. Able to lock down the shots in the end, and Hypnotic will look to make a move. We'll find Yuri. Has to play his life, and I think the challenge comes in from behind. Hypnotic just not ready for that second player to come jumping out of the window, and now it's all up to 2. Hooded Patriot and Minnow have to try and work through a 2 versus 4.
Flak Jacket trades. Patriot quick inside of the lobby window area. There's one more player on the opposite side of the box. Timing's gonna be good. Hooded Patriot is gonna find another. How cracked is them? Are they right now? Well, they will only find 2. The other player will drop inside of the couch room. It's going to send it to a round 11 here, but again, this is all on the cards. Dutchess, round 11, the potential to send it to a map number 5. They won the opening search this round, checkmate 6-4. Irvine Valley College, they're coming in with the heat to close it out here in 4.
Andy, that was just chaos, man. That was terrifying. I thought for a moment a 2 versus 4 might have just ended up being in the cards, but
it almost happened.
It did almost happen. And now what's going to happen for the round 11? Remember, have to keep reminding anyone that is just tuning in. It was 3-0 up originally for the Dutchess, so now we are all even Stevens. This next round takes it all. Irvine Valley, a chance to be your champs. Get it all done in towards the map number 4. Dutchess need to get us towards a map 5 and move in towards the hard point, as we'll start to see everyone line up here for Irvine Valley. Make that offensive push happen over towards B.
Smokes blossomed out inside of Metro. That's going to clear the cross. That has now dissipated. No immediate information to be able to see this push happen. Off screen, though. Player number 5, Nova, is throwing bows towards Pivel. That's over by Boulevard. So at least you know that one player is here. Or Dutchess. Irvine Valley, knowing that information is there. Let's go back to the middle of the map. The narrative is speaking for itself that Nady is on a very long flank over by Library. Miri found first blood inside of Metro.
You just lost Minnow. Oh, a big spread, though, defensively. And player 7, he's going all the way in from behind. Hypnotic here. Is he going to check his left? He's going to see him, but he can't snap in time. Nova and Hooded Patriot need to get the job done, and, well, Stratify will have none of it. Nova got in this situation before. He's had one heck of a game, but there is no time. There is nowhere to go, and the Dutchess will be able to clutch up back-to-back rounds in the end to get us to the last map for Hardpoint.
And again, you gotta think that it comes down to that slight little bit of hesitation. For Irvine, you saw that they were really close to that sofa area on the opposite side of that window, that they almost committed entirely towards the play inside of B, but they hesitated inside of Metro. And at that point in time, it was just a little bit of a peak for Dutchess just to peer down from escalators, see that there's a lingering minnow for first blood, and it all started collapsing from there on out. Again, one player already for Dutchess already knew that there was one player close enough towards that red bus over by the boulevard, so they knew that the pinch play was about to be there. Once you knew that he had all the rats trapped inside of the Metro area, it just came down from the extermination, and that was a wonderful last round played out for Dutchess to send it to that hard point.
Man, that's a tough one. Irvine, 2 rounds away. They had 2 rounds to be able to close out and make sure they weren't going to a hard point. But I feel like the good news and the silver lining in all of this is that this is where they have been their best. They have taken every single respawn up and towards this point. They have only dropped some very close search and destroy maps going back towards that checkmate. And then, of course, the Moscow that we just finished. So we'll figure out what map they even want to move into with, because remember, they're also doing vetoes here on the fly. So this is kind of difficult, I feel like, Andy, when you're going in towards a map 5. I'm just trying to put myself, in the player's body at the moment, knowing that, both of these squads have pretty strong submachine gun lines. Like, are you just willing to kind of almost throw the curveball in and say, all right, let's go to a larger map and see if we can maybe get like a Moscow in the mix or like a checkmate hardpoint? Or do we want to go back towards what has been working, for the both front lines, where it feels like if they can get into flow and start earning some of those, streaks and things like this, they're able to take over and find some of those big moments for breaks and holds.
Yeah, I mean, you might be right in assuming that checkmate might just be better for Dutchess for how more or how slowly that they would rather play rather than being the aggressors. But, It comes to a certain point over another that you might not always be the team that is set up initially for the hardpoint times. How many times did we see that happen for Dutchess back on that raid hardpoint where they had to break forward? Again, that's where you have to rely on the submachine guns just to try to burst on forward. And Stratify can't do it by themselves. At Irvine Valley, they had that help quite in tow. With their SMGs, as well as help from their AR Flex at the time being, but it's just what was lacking. So maybe you could try to go to a more slow, methodical map, such as Garrison, such as Checkmate, like you were noting on as well. But maybe you just try to play at that same pace, because when we did see that aggression from Dutchess, aka in those opening 3 rounds back on Moscow, Search and Destroy before we had to go for the lobby reset, it looked great. They dressed really well as far as the tandem aggression is concerned, being able to find those focus fire shots, and that could work really well even across every single map that is still available to them. My biggest concern is that Crossroads is very much so still in this map pool, and if that ends up somehow sneaking all the way through for Irvine Valley, I think that might just be the final nail in the coffin. You got to be wise when it comes down to this hardpoint pick for Dutchess.
Well, it looks like they are having a bit of a longer extended conversation about what that map will in fact be here proper, which means that we're going to have to keep you guys waiting for a very quick moment. We're going to send things to a commercial break, but when we come back, we are going to have an invitational champion.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Behind every face is a story. Unique. Each and every one. Beautiful stories. Inspiring stories. Some beyond our wildest dreams. And every day, a new story begins. We salute every fearless, self-assured, undeterred, hopeful face all across America. Here's to the next 100 years. Barbasol.
The news says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them.
I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to our Collegiate Esports National Championship. It's myself, Visions, joined with Proper as we get ready for the Game 5. And it's a hard point at that for us, Andy. We have not yet seen a best-of-5 series go down to the last map, and it is a hard point to determine who comes out on top. And not just any hard point, but a second raid that will be played this time around.
I mean, this is really just pushing all my understandings for a best of 5 Call of Duty truly to the brink. But at the end of it, again, for the replay, if you're just now joining us, that first raid hardpoint, it was 250 to 222 for Irvine, California, or for Irvine Valley College, I'm sorry. Within that hardpoint, it was always a 30, 45. It reached somewhere near about a whole hardpoint as far as the lead is concerned. But it came down to that opening breakoff, and it came down to the manipulation of the map. Irvine Valley College were able to exhibit that time and time again when we're thinking about rotations of hills, and even for rotations from hill to hill as well. And Dutchess community were always reeling. They were being split spawn continuously. But then towards the end, they really started to claw their way back. That's when that teamwork really started to work in tandem of one another. That's what really were able to win them that Moscow Search and Destroy at the end of it. And before we ended up hopping into a break, we were talking about, in short, of what Dutchess community might be able to look forward to as far as a hardpoint map is concerned. Well, quite frankly, if they're able to polish at least that opening breakoff and might just work out as a team earlier rather than later for that raid hardpoint, that's a good place to start.
Good place to start. And I think the big difference coming in towards this is that we did have, a roster change coming in. Minnow came through there for the third game, and well, we haven't really seen anything maybe insane come through for him just yet. He's been holding his own in a lot of moments, but he's certainly a slower AR. So I'm kind of wondering, Andy, coming in towards this one, is that going to affect kind of how the team's been playing and, well, who's been playing what roles? Because I feel like the big plus is that when you have this squad kind of firing on all cylinders and the subs are able to come up here and find these entries and, be as explosive as we've been talking about and hyping up, that's when they've been at their best. So now that a slower AR is back in towards the mix, how is that going to play a bit of a factor? It's kind of what's in the back of my mind right now, because it can be a lot of pressure subbing in halfway through a series, especially the very last series here of the final, and trying to perform here. But I feel like you really do need to call on Minnow to have a big performance coming in towards this Game 5 as we played raid twice over.
Well, it doesn't really seem to bother. I mean, we saw Hypnotic, Nova, and Hooded Patriot at many different points of the map not really seem to care that they're going to have a slow-moving AR. It could almost benefit them in a way that you can have Minnow be that OBJ player. It doesn't really get talked about as much as far as what the roles may actually be in between AR Flex and AR when you're getting down to the nitty-gritty of 4v4 Call of Duty. But it's literally just that on Hardpoint. And it could be exemplified here on raid hardpoint when you're thinking about those rotations, that if you do lose that opening break off and that break that could come through, and we're about 30 seconds inside the hardpoint, well, if Minnow ends up spawning out over towards 4, not breaking off of 3, you might as well just go post yourself up over by the basketball courts and just try to anchor out those spawns, playing the route as that main AR, locking down those longer lines of sights. Makes it a little bit easier for the SMGs to be able to work their way through these inner workings that is raid.
That's very, very true for us. And I think the best part is that we've already seen them play it out. And it was a very, very close affair the first time around. When we went through the resets through the very first rotation, I mean, the thing was about a 15-point game. And that was off the back end of a couple of clutch, comebacks for as far as that basketball hill where Yuri found a 4-piece and, was able to kind of build up some of that confidence that he was able to carry through the rest of this best of 5 here for himself. So I think at the very least, every single player at some point in time has already had a big highlight moment, whether that's been in the hard point, whether that's been in the search and destroy. So I think that means that you can at least trust in every single individual to come in here and perform at their best. But you still have to mention the fact that these guys are collegiate players. They're not playing, necessarily for professional play. So how do those nerves, how does that play in towards these moments where you have to go big and you have to bring home the dub? Well, we're about to find out. Dutchess. And it's going to be a very interesting opening as they actually push to the middle of the map here. And this could be your chance to be able to break right through. If not, able to find a couple right off the break. And now it's going to be Irvine Valley. We're able to find that middle map play and get the early time.
Also, everything that we talked about for Irvine Valley might as well just get thrown in towards the shredder because Shorty is in fact back in here for Minnow.
All right.
It's only Hypnotic that is finding kills so far. There's number 5 for them, second within their second life. The opening hard point still has 25 seconds to be active, and it's just a slave fest so far. I want to say for Irvine, but really it's just for Hypnotic. He's got more kills than anybody else inside the lobby, almost combined with all the other 7 players. But you're fighting mostly not just for the time over by P1, but you're also fighting for the ever so wanted P2 spawns, the stratified pieces 2 together inside the kitchen. That means the guaranteed Money Hill spawns will be there for Dutchess.
Now the break from the front. You need to wait for each other right now. You got 3 here, and 1 maybe creating a pinch. Hooded Patriot puts on the gas and able to find 1, but Stratify for 3 will be good to lock things down inside the point. That is now 5 in a row and potential for some early streaks.
Starting to get some deja vu. We have been here before. Now let's see how much time is going to be given up to be able to try to bait for these streaks to potentially come on through. Pivotal was able to find 1. That's on a Chorky. That was on the backside of Jungle. Stratify finds 1 with the Semtex. That is going to be number 6. We're soaking up some hardpoint time as well. So this one sneezes away potentially to be able to get that artillery strike. Who knows how close to getting that cruise missile. But zoning away, Irvine Valley are trying to do through the middle of the map. Hooded Patriot will be posted up inside a Zig. Just going to go ahead and chalk and rotate towards New. Solid 40-point lead and growing, though, as Dutchess. 1 good break to start things off. They're dancing.
Man, how close has Stratify been to streaks throughout this series? And he's just fallen short by 1. That is at least 3. Maybe 3, yeah, maybe 3. There's been a few of them, for sure, and it couldn't just cost him. Nova able to find an easy kill there on towards Yuri, as his teammates also creating some space, winning those individual gunfights, but now a chance to see if they can pivot back inside of the point. Not going to be able to win that one. Pivotal will drop, but you still got Stratify and Yuri making their move. Yuri not going to check his corner, but finds 1 before he drops. 35 seconds left on this point, and it's so difficult to break in, but now their opportunity to pounce. Shorky's maybe coming off a little bit cold. About to feel all that pressure for the last 25 seconds, and they will be able to break through for now.
That's a great point to bring up. Hey, even in mid-map, mid-series analysis, Austin, and that's a great point to bring up. Chorky is 1 in 5. Again, they started off pretty darn strong on that checkmate search and destroy, and coming in cold, I don't care how many bots you may have been shooting, that is very different when the enemy gunny is just hot as hell, one of which name is Stratify. I'd just be the one to put you down in the dirt, but solid P3 coming off of Irvine, just diminishing that lead just to about 20. And again, that timely gunfight was a good one to lose because they spawn in towards P4. Could be looking at a pretty strong setup unless Pivotal breaks it up.
Pivotal from the top, Yuri from the middle. Everyone losing battles. That means that a lot of time is going to be netted over towards Irvine Valley, maybe to take this lead back in their favor. Stratify, understanding his role in this position as his teammates need to work up towards the point before he can make his move. And Yuri for some long-range shots. Not going to be good, but Stratify waits patiently, won't be able to get him towards the point. The support is here. Hooded Patriot, can he find another 1v1 for the last 20 seconds? It would be a big one, but no, denied that opportunity. Luckily, the spawns are close, and it's still a battle for scrap as Yuri gives it one last good go, but won't be the case. And now Irvine Valley going to find themselves with a bit of a lead heading in towards the P4 5 Hill.
I would have loved for Patriot to play their life just a little bit longer there. They were on 5 straight. Contested time would have been fine. It was a very small marginal lead that you're fighting for scrap time, but streaks would have been so beneficial going in towards the second set of hills. And, well, even in P5, look at the setup that Dutchess is already playing with on pillars in every single angle, but it's a strong setup, but it's an even better break. 2 for 1. Yuri's the only one to find a kill. They're in 6. Them techs plus the 74U of Nova will clear out that angle. Wonderful break coming out from Irvine.
Oh, but Nady able to come away with a couple. Gotta fight with one more. The sub's doing a good job, but Nady inside the point finds the head, shuts down Hooded Patriot. Looking at what could be now 100 points picked up for the Dutchess as we make a move for the rotation, but still a lot of scrap time to play for Nady. What was that? Finds that double, and Yuri moves in to make sure they stay on the time.
It'll be a very small lead, just about 10 seconds. If Dutchess soak up all the last bit of that scrap time, Irvine will break in for the last 7. So they will still maintain a very small buffer of the lead going in towards the second set of hills. Middle of the map control, cannot stress it more. Middle of the map control, and Stratify will be gifted one spawn over by the Jacuzzi. They will move their way through the middle of the map. Irvine Valley, they will be in possession of P1 for the time being, but the pinch is all the way through for Dutchess, and they have cleared house.
Nady, he's coming to play, baby. It's map 5. This is for all the marbles, and he's showing up 18 and 12. Almost about a minute inside of the hill on top of it, looking for what could be work towards streaks. Just on 3 for now, but that could very likely go up here if he's able to stop this push. Still 30 seconds remaining. Will be Pibble able to come away with 1. Can't read the second, but Nady in the point will find his 4th, locking down the time, bobbing and weaving in between cover, trying to play his life the best he can, but it will be Dutchess retaking control as Hooded Patriot looks towards this rotation for New.
It's about to be a big play for Patriot. Looks a little bit to their right. Immediate help has to be to their left. Catches one off guard. The retrain. Oh, Stratify is going to be able to take down Patriot with some help from Yuri that was close. Nova now finessing her on the pillar. Nova has one more, and help from Torque means that kitchen will be cleared. Irvine Valley, they're in. Still very competitive. It's just about 5 seconds, it seems, in between these two teams, but the hit might just come through for Dutchess from the front.
Oh, you need to break this, and it's not looking great. The first push has been shut down. 2 players dropping. Pivel's forced to try and play his life and see if he can get away with a couple of kills, but a pinch in from behind. Look at Stratify right now. His chance to be able to maybe break this hill wide open. He's also blocking the spawns. Here comes the pinch. The play is good for 1. The Stratify find 2. He gets help for it. A big moment to make sure this game does not get out of hand in the last 30 seconds. Might just be cleaned up here for the Dutchess.
And where Stratify has fallen off considerably from that opening streak, it is Nady that's been picking things up. 21 and 15 now for them. Leading the charge as far as the lobby is concerned. Right there to join is Hypnotic. As soon as we rotate over towards New, Irvine Valley still in possession of P2, so north to south spawns over by the west side of the map have truly ensued. A foot race for the reinforcements for the rotation over towards New. Patriot was that Nady is over on the blue car, is being pinched from AC. Hypnotic will be able to find that kill, and Irvine successfully break into 3.
Irvine Valley, when it comes down to these important moments, they are set up and they are winning the rotations right now. And you're feeling that as the Dutchess need to move in and find themselves a break. You feel like it needs to happen now so the game is not completely lost. Pivel finds his way in. The contest is here. Can they find the kills? Pivel does respond on 1, but still has to get... Chorky was just sitting right towards the corner, and Chorky might be able to play his life and stall a couple more seconds, but the last 25 could be good, all pending on what happens next. Now, like this call, Hypnotic simply going to back away and start to set up here by the basketball court.
And look where Yuri's located at, too. You're going to try to block spawns, but it's going to be unsuccessful while you're still in possession of 3. You're probably going to get spawned a little bit closer towards ring, but that's a great call for Stratify, just to give up that last bit of hill time, to just try to go help out their teammates from the break. Yuri reveals himself back jungle. He'll be teared all the way down. Hitting from the front, he'll be dealt with. Stratify inside of 5 will only find a single kill. And Dutchess are all respawning over by Mansion side, just trying to work their way across pool. Stratify in a great spot to help things out.
Stratify up top on 4. Seal can't find those streaks. Shut down every single time. Can't catch a break. And, well, Irvine Valley, you're certainly hoping that streaks aren't going to be a factor for you, because you might just have this one locked up. The push comes through, and it is shut down out front. Nady has to make a solo chow. Will find himself 1, reads the second. Hypnotic, though, gives him the business in the one-on-one gunfight. And, well, here comes the desperation. One last push for the scrap time from the side. Everyone will drop here again. Stratify contesting, but not in a great position, and Nova there to clean up that last kill. Scrap time is secured. Irvine Valley in a good position to lock this one up.
They're already threatening inside a kitchen. Yuri was looking towards a easy kill for Patriot. That's a first blood that you probably want back of an AR, and 80's finding a lot of good tags. There's a trophy system right up front. The initial time will be secured. You're talking about a full 60. Flawless hardpoint of what needs to be exhibited. Early kills will be traded out, but it's Hypnotic to take down Nady. Does not have enough health to put themselves inside the hill, and Stratify will find a trade.
Need to hold this time, and Nova will be able to come away with 2. That might be the entry to break things wide open. One last gunfight. Nady can't do it all, and this could be it. One last push. You need to break, and Yuri tries to slide on through, able to win the gunfight, but it's not enough. You still have players inside. Someone needs to touch, and it's not going to be there. Irvine Valley, 250 to 176, and that will seal the deal. They are your Cold War Invitational champions.
Again, they are just, you said it right there, even from Hypnotic's perspective, giving them the business. I mean, they were just relentless off the rip as far as just decisive pushes, the middle of the map. They were always aware as far as what they were looking for as far as rotations and the heads-up play to be able to block the spawns as well. That was a little bit of a snatch and play from Dutchess there towards the end. Again, they try to claw their way back from what I was, again, expecting for Dutchess to try to clean up in what was raid hardpoint number 2 Electric Boogaloo in this best of 5 series. Irvine Valley College has said, yeah, we're able to showcase a lot of adaptations as well. And that was, again, those definitive rotations to be able to recognize we're only down to about 10, 15 seconds. We need to start posting up in these power positions to be able to lock down these rotations and for the initial time. And that always ended up garnering them sometimes 40 seconds. And if they had to break, hell, they would break within the opening 20 seconds. They would get the 40 regardless.
Oh, Andy, there is something a little bit different about seeing things end on a hard point for map 5. And you know what? I'm here for it. I'm here for that change up, that little shake that, you know, maybe we've been missing throughout all of Cold War. It comes in here for us now. I'm glad it went the distance because it was a little bit different. Maybe not calling, you know, individual lives that are only going to last for a round compared to, you know, a team push that could make or break the difference in those final moments. And yes, Irvine Valley really turning up the pressure, turning up the heat, and able to come away with what was the important rotations near the end. That was honestly some of the best Call of Duty I think we've gotten to see, you know, throughout quite a while, for as far as at least some creative plays, some players who are looking to try and make some moves, and it was entertaining as hell, Andy. That was a great time.
Yeah, that was a great series. Again, you know, walking in here, again, very cookie cutter. I started off again just talking about some of the very easy nuances of Call of Duty, and we started to recognize that not only were these players quite literally respecting the entirety of the map, they were also respecting each other as adversaries and respecting the game of Cold War, playing it to a very fine tee. We go back and just break down the entire best of 5 series for the next like 3 hours, full stop, because there was a lot of good highlighted plays, starting off on that checkmate search and destroy all the way down to that raid hardpoint. That was exemplified in between these two collegiate teams.
Definitely was. It was a great time casting it. And again, congratulations to Irvine Valley for coming out there with the dub, 3-2, coming down to the wire. But that's going to do it for at least Call of Duty Cold War. But ladies and gents, we still got our post show coming up to start breaking down all of the matches, all of the action, set things up for tomorrow. So we're going to throw things to a break. Don't go too far.